Goon here today with your Mae Young Classic Round 1 review and results. Something about the Mae Young Classic is they're starting to build a little bit of a storyline for a couple of people. There was no real big storyline going into it like there was the Cruiserweight Classic, so it had a lot of people negative over it. But the matches, they were decent. Hopefully they build up more. Hopefully we get to see an underdog story versus a Goliath story or something like that. Because we kind of saw that in the first round with our first match. Jazzy Gabert and Abby Laith. Jazzy Gabert, she is like the Braun Strowman of this tournament. She is a big woman. She looks intimidating. She came into the tournament heavy hitting, and she was getting the better of Abby Laith. Abby Laith, she shocked us all. She ended up beating Jazzy Gabert somehow, someway. She pulled it out of her hat, and she beat Jazzy Gabert. It was an interesting way to have Abby Laith win. I thought Jazzy Gabert would be going over. I thought Jazzy Gabert might be one of those ones that we might see in the tournament for a little bit, but it didn't happen that way. Next we had Rachel Evers versus Marti Belle. Let's get this out of the way. Marti Belle has a great look. I thought she should have won, but being the daughter of Paul Ellering, which is her story in this tournament, Rachel Evers ended up beating Marti Belle, and Rachel Evers is advancing on. And also like to throw this out there, Marti Belle obviously still very green in the ring. It's obvious, but we'll give her a pass this time because she didn't win. She didn't need to improve. But it's going to be interesting seeing what they can do with Marti Belle if they decide to sign her. Next, we had Princessa Suhei versus Kaylee Ray. This match surprised me. I really did think Kaylee Ray was going to be the winner here. Kaylee Ray put on a good showing. Princessa Suhei, though, ended up picking up the win over Kaylee Ray. I really did think Kaylee Ray was the one that they were going to pick to win here. I thought Kaylee Ray could have very easily went into the Elite Eight of the tournament. I thought that it made a whole lot of sense. But, I mean, it really surprised me. I didn't see it coming, and that's what happened. There's not much to it. Next, we had Xia Li versus Mercedes Martinez. I thought Xia Li was going to win this one, but Mercedes Martinez ended up beating Xia Li. Another one, wasn't sure on, but Mercedes Martinez, she had a good showing. She ended up beating Xia Li, and I wouldn't be surprised if Mercedes Martinez makes it to the Elite Eight over Princessa Suhei. Next we had Nicole Savoy and Reina Gonzalez. This one, I believe, was won by, it was won by Nicole Savoy. I didn't catch too much of this match. I wasn't really paying attention to this match because it just didn't intrigue me any. So I can't say too much on it besides Nicole Savoy won. Next, we have Renee Michelle versus Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae was one of the big names coming into this tournament, so it would make sense if Candice LeRae would have won, which she did. In her match, she went to the top rope, and she hit a neck breaker kind of move. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice move. I thought that it could be very heavily utilized in a NXT, kind of like how Ember Moon's Eclipse is utilized. I think that that's a great move, and I really do think it will work on main roster eventually. Next we had Sarah Logan versus Mia Yim. I gotta say, Sarah Logan and Mia Yim, they did impress me. I like the match. Sarah Logan, I did say that she should get signed. I did enjoy it. She's a good wrestler. She's good at selling. Really did enjoy it. Mia Yim, though, but I do think that Sarah Logan is very, very good in the ring. I think she can hang with a lot of people in the business. Next, we had Zeta versus Shayna Baszler. They were building Shayna Baszler off of her 4 horsewomen in UFC, and Shayna Baszler, she completely went through Zeta. She hit one of those arm bars on her. It looked like it was actually going, not wrestling style, but UFC style. She looks like she was actually going for it. Zeta taps out. Shayna Baszler advances. Wouldn't be surprised if I see her in the Final 4, because I imagine she'll beat Mia Yim. And then I imagine Candice LeRae will face her. And I could very easily see Shayna Baszler making it pretty far in the tournament. So I do think Shayna Baszler will be in the Final 4, or even the finals maybe. But Shayna Baszler, obviously somebody that they're trying to push in this tournament. I'll save the Kairi Sane Tessa Blanchard thing, because that was the best match. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's go right next to Sage Beckett and Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair is the NXT, or one of the NXT women in this tournament. There's 2, her and Lacey Evans. But as you'd imagine, Bianca Belair is the NXT talent. Sage Beckett, nobody knew too much about. Bianca Belair would be the one getting the victory. She would advance, and she is going to fight the winner of Kairi Sane Tessa Blanchard, which we'll talk about in a moment. Kavita Della V and Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai impressed me in this match. I really did enjoy Dakota Kai in the ring. Thought she could do a lot. I really did enjoy. They put on a pretty good match. I didn't see anything wrong with it. Dakota Kai obviously is good in the ring, and I do think that they should sign her. She is pretty dang good in my mind, and I do think that having her win was the right decision. She's kind of that underdog story on that side. She kind of isn't the most intimidating, but it makes sense. And with what happened next, I wouldn't be surprised if Dakota Kai ended up winning the next round either, because Rhea Ripley versus Miranda Salinas. Rhea Ripley, great look. She went over. Strong woman. And it would make a lot of sense for Dakota Kai to pull the upset off on Rhea Ripley, because Rhea Ripley is a big woman. She is like tall. And I could see them having Dakota Kai pick up a cheap win, maybe a roll-up, and advancing into this tournament to eventually fight either Tessa Blanchard or Kairi Sane. When we get to that, I'll tell you who won. I'm going to make you build up your reason to stay in and watch this, but if you've watched it already, you know who won, and you'll know why I'm waiting. Next match, we had Vanessa Bourne and Serena Deeb. Serena Deeb is the same one from the Straight Edge Society, the shaved, bald woman that accepted her fate in the Straight Edge Society. They're building her off of that she had to take time away to get clean from drugs and all this alcohol. And she's coming into this tournament as a revitalization of her career. Kind of like how they did with Brian Kendrick, his last chance to show them what he's got. So Serena Deeb, that's kind of what they're doing with her. She ended up beating Vanessa Bourne, and Serena Deeb can still go. So it was very, very entertaining to see her back. Next, we have Piper Niven versus Santana Garrett. Piper Niven is quite a large lady, and she moves around the ring like she is not. Piper Niven obviously went over. I could see Piper Niven beating Serena Deeb. I don't think Serena Deeb is necessarily a conquering underdog, but I could also see how Serena Deeb would win, since revitalizing her career, that she's not going to stop at anything to win the Mae Young Classic. And, well, but I do see Piper Niven as a big piece in the future. Next, we had Taynara Conti and Lacey Evans. Taynara Conti, she is, I believe, a judo black belt or something. She's very good. She came in there and she let Lacey Evans pick up the cheap win, roll up. Taynara Conti got upset after the match. But hey, Lacey Evans ended up winning. Taynara Conti, surprise. I thought she was going to be a big piece into the Mae Young Classic. She ended up losing. Taynara Conti can't do too much about it. It would have made sense for her to beat her up after the match, do something. I did think Taynara Conti would pick up the victory because she is the younger talent here. She is the one that they need to build, but Lacey Evans, obviously being from NXT, makes more sense to go with her. And, well, it just, why would you care too much about a Taynara Conti if you haven't watched her? But she is really good. I do think that she has a good future, but right now it's not in the WWE, and I don't see her coming for at least a year or two. I think she needs to develop just a little more. She is good, but I don't know if that's going to translate well into NXT just yet. Especially with her character, she might want some character development, but that's just my thoughts. Next, we had Aisha Raymond and Toni Storm. Toni Storm ended up winning this. Toni Storm is quite impressive. And Toni Storm's also very attractive, too. It makes sense for her to win, and I do believe she'll probably beat Lacey Evans. So I easily see Toni Storm going to the Elite Eight. Then you have to probably face Piper Niven. I don't know if she'd win that. And that would eventually set her to a Final Four against one of the people in the next match, which is Kairi Sane and Tessa Blanchard. Tessa Blanchard has a great look. Kairi Sane, great look. Both of them amazing in the ring. They can both hang. But this is where the best match of the tournament comes in. Kairi Sane, Tessa Blanchard, they put on a good show. Tessa Blanchard is obviously one a lot of people thought could possibly win the Mae Young Classic. I thought Tessa Blanchard was going to be on the other side of the bracket so that we could see Kairi Sane, Tessa Blanchard in the finals. They gave it to us in the first round. So that even goes more to saying Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane is going to be in the finals. I do think Kairi Sane is going to end up winning this tournament. Kairi Sane is insane. Wicked off the top rope. Elbow on to Tessa Blanchard. Picks up the 1-2-3. Beats Tessa Blanchard. Tessa Blanchard, though, did have a good showing. I did enjoy it. And they did have a good match. So let's recap this real quick. Abby Leif, underdog story, she won. Rachel Evers, she's the daughter of Paul Ellering, she won. Princess Suhei, I thought she didn't have won, but she won. Mercedes Martinez won. Nicole Savoy won. Didn't care too much about that one. Candice LeRae obviously won because she is, I believe, the wife of Johnny Gargano. Then we have Mia Yim. She ended up beating Sarah Logan. Shayna Baszler beat Zeta. Kairi Sane beat Tessa Blanchard. She'll go on to face Bianca Belair. Dakota Kai, the underdog story of the right side of the bracket. Then we had Rhea Ripley. She beat Marina Salinas. Then we had Serena Deeb beat Vanessa Bourne. Then we had Piper Niven beat Santana Garrett. Taynara Conti ended up losing to Lacey Evans, which I found surprising. And Toni Storm obviously beat Aisha Raymond. Anyways, thank you guys for listening to my Mae Young Classic review. What you guys thought about the first round. Tell me if you guys enjoyed a certain match. Maybe you enjoyed the Nicole Savoy-Reina Gonzalez match that I didn't care too much about. So just leave down in the comments what you thought about the Mae Young Classic first round. It doesn't feel like the Cruiserweight Classic, but Mae Young Classic, I do enjoy it. I would probably put this tournament somewhere at the 5 to 6 range. It's nothing too impressive, but it's pretty good. I do enjoy the matches they put within it because they're simply just putting on matches. There's no stories to the match, which is kind of disappointing, but the matches, they do deliver and they make sense for some of them. Some of them, like Kaylee Ray, don't make any sense, but hey, I mean, if they're going to push someone, they got to push them. Anyways, it's been Gamers Goon, and I am out. See you guys in the next video.